Hey everybody, this is Sam Serious, another episode on Factorio. I pretty much got Gleba figured out with this planet. Found out my own little balance here that works here. Though I do want to make one big change on this space to decrease the dependency on the bot network to do stuff here for processing all the fruit. This is by far the most ridiculous on a bot logistics network that I ever done, so that's gotta change. This way I'm not having to have this many nuclear reactors on Gleba, because this is much. But hey, it was necessary to figure out how to get things going on Gleba, so figure it out. It's all about having loops that has some sort of filter system that filters out any spoilage, like what I'm doing here. And then I'm seeking spoilage through, there's multiple ways I'm seeking spoilage. I'm using spoilage to create more nutrients, and then I'm using and any more excess spoilage just gets, okay, where are they? Oh, they just get burnt up to produce power. Should the spoilage be at a certain count. Same deal with pentapod eggs. I'm sinking pentapod eggs before they, expire. Whenever a pentapod egg is... I basically am restricting the amount of pentapod eggs I'm creating, and that's enough to have a pentapod egg go into the power system. Should I wind up producing more pentapod eggs than a specific limit that I have. So here, which should be 20 pentapod eggs, so every 21st will be cycled out. And enough pentapod eggs are being cycled through to basically keep all the eggs fresh. And should anything go out of control, well, Tesla turrets will deal with them. I pretty much fixed up the power situation I had with nuclear reactors not properly working, so I don't have to worry about the space running out of power anymore. I don't have to worry about pentapod incursions either. So this is how big my cloud is so far from all the agriculture that's going on. But outside that cloud, I set up artillery outposts that are being supported by an artillery train. Just, ooh, what's this? Oh, nothing to fret about. Just enough to deal with any pentapod nest expansion. Keeps them from not smelling all the fruit being harvested. Therefore, they won't want to attack my stuff, so I can focus on my defenses minimally on Gleba. These are enough to keep them out. Enough to keep them out, and as long as they stay out of the zone, things will be fine. But that's Gleba pretty much secured now. Now, this episode, I was originally intending to dedicate an episode to redoing Novice because of the fact that I feel it's getting to be near peak capacity for how many ships it can support going all over the planets. Now, I got enough ships where most of the ships can proceed around at a circle through Volcanus, Gleb, and Fulgora and distribute the resources at a net needed basis. But that's a lot of rockets to send of ammunition and other materials up to them. And I would like to actually solely dedicate Novice to more towards research and Novice exclusive resources, which is nuclear tech. All the rest of other things I think the planets can support each other with. Now, I was thinking about scrapping up this whole base just enough to have it where the rocket rocket silos can do their stuff, as well as uranium processing. But I've been thinking, what if I start doing like basic resource production in space? I got a lot of basic tech for this. Like I got advanced asteroid processing, I got asteroid reprocessing. So I can at least do copper, as well as getting calcite from space. I have a decent amount of productivity for these sort of things, but I've been thinking, why not use these advanced tech here to create all the basic resources in space and have all the ships supplement planets? Practically infinite resources. I've already designed some trawlers for it, and I already have one of them partly in construction right now. Just have nothing but space platforms going into it. And I'm doing it with the advanced processing, but I'm also doing it with foundries, which will require calcite, and with advanced processing for oxidized asteroids being an option now, I'm able to produce enough of these just for just to sustain a 240 per second iron and steel production, as well as getting some extra copper and excess too as well. And it's also produced enough calcite for advanced fuel processing. I've pretty much created a nuclear reactor array with these blueprints too as well. So this is pretty much the big blueprint right now. It's bigger, it's slower, had to use more thrusters with it, but it works. Now, there's also another thing too as well. These ships, I'm also designing them to be capable of traveling around Aquillo. So far, these ships are able to achieve that. Now, my first ship I'm making, which each ship I've made is going to be a cargo trawler. So they're producing like iron, copper, steel, as well as being able to handle other planet exclusive resources. And with Gleba having a research lock where I can stack items on a belt, all these ships are going to be able to provide about 240 per second resource production here. This trawler is going to be dedicated to space platform production, so this way when it makes its rounds on Novice, it'll just send all of the space platforms and cache stuff down. This way I don't have to expand platform production on Novice. So once I get that going, then I will proceed on to making steel copper trawler and the iron copper trawlers. These ships with an even more expanded cargo bay, I'm inclined to have those be for handling cargo too as well. Now these ships, like I said, are Aquillo capable. I got a bunch of rocket turrets that are placed periodically here. I was thinking I was needing gun turrets, but I'm at a point where I'm realizing I don't need gun turrets. Though I still will have them here just in case these laser turrets aren't enough. So this ship has a combination of solar panels and nuclear reactors going into it. Like I'm producing about, gosh, I think about a gigawatts worth of power. Mostly for the foundries of the laser turret systems, but doing this with laser turrets helps me save on uranium ammunition, which will take the load off of the Novice rocket system. Solar panels will, when it's nearing other planets, will reduce the amount of steam required from the nuclear reactors, helping me save on nuclear fuel. And And with the current bonuses with the rockets and lasers and all, actually, what is my explosive damage? That should be enough to two-shot most asteroids. You know what, now that I'm talking about Aquillo, I might as well just go ahead and queue Aquillo. Yeah, this ship will be slowly expanding out. I'll make more. As more of these ships get made available, I'll then start making videos, but in the meantime, that's exactly what I'm actively doing right now. Meantime, I should probably make a bunch of rare inserters. But yeah, once I get a few of these ships going around, making their circles around, even including Aquillo, like the circle that these ships are going to be taking is Novice Vulcanus. Is it? In fact, I checked myself. Yeah, Novice to. Okay, I see now. It's basically an 8. So Novice to Vulcanus, Gleba, then to Fulgora, and loops up to Aquillo, back to Gleba, and then to Novice. So I'm doing like a little 8 path here. Yeah, I just want to get the space platform production going, since the space platforms are what's going to hold me back the most just by the sheer amount of these. Now I just got to figure out how to start making the rare grade inserters and the rare grade rocket turrets for these, as well as the stack inserters. I need to make a bunch of rare bulk inserters just for a sake of keeping up with 244 items per second production and resource sinks too as well. So I also need to make sure that I got plenty of the stack inserters. So in between camera shots, stuff like that, I'll be working on that issue. In the meantime, I will see y'all in the next clip here and show the progress. Okay, so I've done a lot, way more than what I was planning for expansion to Aquillo. Here I'm back on Gleba. I'm pretty much ready to depart to Aquillo soon. So here's the gist of the ships I did. So I'm slowly converting a bunch of the existing ships over to into the trawlers, into the cargo trawlers I'm trying to create. So far I got 3 iron trawlers and 2 steel trawlers. I'm getting ready to create another steel trawler at some point, whichever next cargo ship is on Novice when I look at it. Which, you know, I'm almost tempted to just redo my iron trawler that I originally set up. This is a good ship for starting off the Vulcanus and stuff with, but I think this is due for an upgrade. This will be my next steel trawler. So yeah, this is but yeah, this is what I've been doing. But I also did a lot of other things too as well. I've decided to go for a universal approach in logistic chest storage because of quality. I've went ahead and proceeded to research epic quality materials. This way I can basically get even better materials now that I have higher throughput on certain resources. Now this required me to fit all the bases in ways that is capable of handling quality products. So I was procrastinating this hard because, well, originally I was thinking I'd have to manually set all the chests for all the basic resources. But you know something? Woob really made good thinking on something here. Parameterization. You're able to specify certain items to be overwritten by a parameterization symbol. And you can't just you can simply grab the blueprint and plop it down and specify what you want those materials to be reserved for. Like with parameterization with the logistic chest, with the storage chest, I can specify what they can house. This way I'm not dealing with any excessive clogging or congestion from any of these chests, from any resources that are being overproduced in excess. And it could also be helpful to specify what you want to craft. And then you have like a logistic bots network. You can then simply have a bunch of request chests to have their requests made based on what the recipe requires. And I've designed it to where the with the circuits that these will do so at a certain threshold. Now, I developed my own quality casinos for each quality of materials. And I'll just typically plop one of these down to produce like a specific type of resource and then work it, and those resources up to a certain threshold will then get recycled back up through the recycler above them to either A, send the resources back to the same assembler, or it'll pull out any higher grade quality materials to redirect to the next higher quality assembling machine. Initially, all the assembly machines here that are producing the resources will have their stuff be redirected to a buffer chest included within the casino modules I've created here. But should it start exceeding a certain threshold with the buffer chest after its requests are fully fulfilled, should a certain amount be reserved in the storage chest that the producing machines are outputting onto, they'll be cycled into the request chests that that goes to the recycler back to the machines. That's how I'm taking that approach with quality right now. I'm doing that with the electromagnetic plants, assembly machines. I haven't finalized the blueprint yet for this, but I am getting ready to finalize this for foundries too as well. I just got to check on things on this blueprint, make sure I hooked everything up right before I create a blueprint for this. Wow. Well, Candace is quiet right now. What's going on here? First of all, oh no. Okay, I know what happened. I'm gonna have to send this shit back ASAP. Should have barely enough ammunition. I also need to purge any excessive resources. I keep on making a mistake on creating a bunch of requests and editing them. These logistic requests are presets that are globally transmitted across same ships that are having the same presets, which is a cool feature for mass editing. But if you're not paying attention to other ships that have certain design limitations, it can actually cause bottlenecks and stoppages like this. I'm so glad I caught this on time because I didn't see any uranium ammunition stored in here. And I'm noticing that the, for some odd reasons aren't working either. I'm not concerned about what's going on this. Oh. Here I go again on a battle run to push back a bunch of bugs. It's been about 10 hours since that started becoming a problem again, so I'm not too annoyed. The only complaint I have about that is that it always happens at certain timings, like right now, me trying to brief all what's going on before I go to Aquillo. Also, I got full gore to show y'all too as well. I want to do that before I head over. It's going to take a little bit of time, probably about an additional 30% slower than normal. I'll get onto why shortly. Some of y'all can probably spot why already, which I will cover shortly. I will say this, any mega basers would understand my pain right now. Yeah. The occasional run I have to do to keep the bugs in check. Yes, I have destroyed plenty of the turrets doing this sort of thing before. Ooh, the UPS 4 is real. Bring it on. Uh-oh. Wrong tank. Well, regardless, that bug base has been... I'll put that in the afterburners for a bit. I got Aquillo to think about. Point is, I dispatched that base. So I still got a little bit of defenses to work with. I'll just park this tank and show Fulgora. Yeah, they want to expand at that spot right now. I keep on meaning to create artillery outposts, but my head's been elsewhere, putting Novice in the afterburner. The ships I've designed that are more energy-based, trawlers, they're already paying off with how much uranium ammunition they're saving me. So that's a bit of a big plus for me right now. And it's the occasional logistic bots being destroyed by lightning. Should grab that tank. Great. This is a rare tank. There we go. Now this one will be up to par. I think that tank may have been specialized for combat, which I don't really need to worry about much anymore. Alright. So, while the ships are building, I've been doing a lot of work on Fulgora in response to the quality research I've done. So I can go up to epic quality now. I've moved my space hub from the old base to the new one now. I've really expanded over. Slightly bigger cargo capacity, but I don't need anything ridiculously huge. But yeah, this is my storage now for Fulgora. I'm storing everything mass in. And I got a bunch of recyclers that are acting like a adaptive sink module system to it. This way I'm maximizing. This way I'm having a ways of processing all of the resources I'm getting from scrap on Gleba. So I redistributed. So I redistributed a bunch of the more bigger ores to into a train network. Think about migrating the same thing to this ore patch. This is a 25 mil. This is also another good patch to redirect everything to. Not that I need to, considering that I'm already having a lot of trains go over here. Then again, there's a bunch of trains here that take their time to fill up. Won't hurt to, excuse me, add more for throughput's sake. But yeah, all these are going into recyclers, all with quality 3 modules, rare grade, slowly being converted over to epic versions of the quality 3 modules. So I'm able to process epic materials out of that, get epic goods out of that. Logistic.net isn't keeping up. I'm going to have to figure out how to manage throughput for this at some point, especially with this logistic network not being enough. I would use belts with this, but the problem is that these are islands, and these islands restrict real estate very severely, not to mention I have to reserve a lot of space for storage, energy storage. I really wish that I have a means of creating some sort of belt network that can travel the oceans right now. But no, I need foundation for that. That's why I'm feeling a big need to go for Aquillo right now. Bot network is a very laggy system right now because, well, I have multiple bases that are having huge bot networks. Old War being the second biggest one. Gleba being the biggest one with having 50,000 logistic bots versus the 13,000 here on this planet. Or 14,000, I should say now. But that's also another thing to consider too as well about this base. The overflow modules, they're adaptive on the items stored on my logistic network. This is the brains of the operation here. A timer system that's going into a decider combinator that is reading everything based on what this robo network is telling. These selector combinators are reading the highest amount of items present in the network. I say highest based on how the system works. I'm doing a select input filter at a descending order, specifying an index from 0, 1, and 2. For those guys who don't understand what a combinator is, here's what I'm talking about. So this output here saying each, this tells the network to look at every single item stored in the logistic network, and I'm having them compare to this quantity here, and it will output the specified quantity on every single item that is greater than 50,000, and it's pulsing that output periodically on a timer system here that I've created. This here. Now, in case there is a lot of items in case there are more than 3 slots worth of items that are seeing things, that are seeing an output, whatnot, Factorio organizes how it displays information on the logistic networks with the highest item count to the top upper left corner of the graphical interface that you're reading the data from, whether it's by eyes or just simply how the game interprets this information. the power of the selector combinator acts on this organization. This would be index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. These combinators here are only reading the first 3. And then outputting these specific 3 items out of the output. That is the power, that's a big power that these selector combinators have. Amongst other things too as well, which I can get down to explain soon too as well. Additionally, I am having a combinator that is an arithmetic combinator here. I don't know exactly what the gist of this, but I can't explain it well, but I basically did this just enough for it to tell the system to exclude the scrap out of the combinator system here. So this is pretty much excluding including everything but scrap. This way these here aren't these recycling modules aren't grabbing all the scrap and then adding to the oversupply of resources and outputting these at signal condition 1, and then this arithmetic combinator is multiplying that signal by a factor of 300 using the each condition filter. This is being routed to the radar system and then to the substations. Radar system because, well, Fulgora is having a lot of islands that are broken up by the oil ocean. So I'm happy to use radar systems to make up the difference or the gap from what can't be communicated. Plus, too, it's better to have one brain that's constantly doing all the calculations instead of each module's doing brains, because that will rapidly tank the UPS. This is probably what's eating up a lot of UPS right now on top of the large bot network I have. And plus 2 Gleba. But yeah, I've designed it to where every like 12 seconds the timer will make everything adjust. This decider combinator with a wire going across in the timer system, they say that each equals each. This way it will preserve memory on what these items are that's wanting to specify as a filter condition for the requester chest. And this each modifier will keep the request for these chests latched. This way I'm not dealing with even more UPS issues with requests that are constantly changing every X amount of time, with most amount of change being possible being every requester change every game tick, depending on how much the logistic network index list is changing. The same list that these combinators are looking at, because the index list on quantity, these items will move placement left, right, back, and forth accordingly. Knowing this, I'm taking advantage of this natural characteristic to specify 3 of the highest count items minus the scrap, so that way all those items will be requested first and then scrapped down. All the way down to a 50k item threshold. The theory of this here is that circuit conditions will change the request conditions of the highest amount of items to reduce the quantity and mass overall, all the way down to 50,000 items. This way, I'm not dealing with an overstock of certain items that would jam up the overall operations on Fulgora, because on Fulgora, you cannot precisely control what you get out of scrap. It's all RNG what comes out of that. So the best thing to do is to look at what you have the most amount of items of, and then scrap them then and there. And we'll at some point want to figure out how to get rid of all these. That's a later problem. Yeah, this brains here is what's probably eating up a lot of my UPS right now. It's a bit of a necessity right now to manage Fulgora. At some point, I'm going to redesign Fulgora again to be able to work with belts. I mean, technically speaking, I can right now, but I would much rather have all these systems being able to interact with each other fully once I get foundations to be able to interconnect everything here. I can then start placing down light rods in the middle of oceans to protect the logistic bots. I can then expand these islands, connect them together, merge power grids. One of my power grids right now, I believe the system specifically, even with epic accumulators, still runs out of energy due to processing that goes on here and logistic networks. Good news is, at least I've got electromagnetic science being produced again. Make sure that transport ship is fine. Yep, you're not going anywhere. Before that ship wrecked itself. I created my own little flower system with the selector combinator and all. Selector combinator I'm using to specify quality with items. It's enough to tell these smelteries to prioritize smelting higher quality items before lower quality items. And this cider combinator is looking again using each filter, saying that whenever each of these items are exceeding at least 5 items, tells the stack inserters to grab the items of highest quality based on what the selector combinator is guiding to at ascending order. This way it's prioritizing the least amount of items first before going into these furnaces, which tends to be higher quality items, into these smelteries. Now with these smelteries, even with just stone or iron, I'm going multiples of 5 because you need 5 iron plates to make steel. And these inserters are designed not to insert more items as long as these furnaces are working. Therefore, I'm maintaining perfect multiples. This way I'm not having one straight item of random quality inside jamming up an insert to try to insert another item of different quality. Furthermore, the inserters will not. The stack inserters seem to automatically grab items out of the chest regardless of what happens. And if I'm dealing with quality filter items that are rapidly changing, again with a filter that is with a filter system with a item filter that is varying by the item count in the request chests, it will jam up these furnaces over time. So this is how I'm preventing that issue. This quality monitor is pretty much useless now, and I'm looking at this more. Oh, it's actual old remnants when I was doing a bunch of prototyping. Am I destroying the chest in the process? First of all, those are wrong items I'm avoiding. Don't mind me making errors and me revising everything. Anyways, I'm going to stop doing it before I want to prolong this episode. I can fine trim everything all day and get nothing done. That's not the point of this episode. I'm already squirreling enough away as is already. Anyhow, what I will do is that I will go ahead pause this ship real quick to make sure it doesn't part on me prematurely. Is this? Oh, this is on Fulgora. This is on Fulgora, not Gleba. I'm being silly right now. Let's see here. What is on Gleba? This one just started. This one's almost. It'll be the ship. Should be the ship that's on Gleba now. Yeah, one of the first planets I'll for sure be downsizing at some point is Gleba. In terms of logistic networks. Oh, the animation's so slow when I'm oscillating between half to 2/3 of the game's performance. You know, you're not managing your PS well when you're at that point. Okay, then I will go to Aquillo, specify that inactivity for 5 seconds. Then I'll specify Gleba and do a 5-second inactivity. And then this will want to head back to Novice. Alright, sit back, let the ship do its thing. It'll then proceed down to Fulgora, and then to Aquillo. Now, I know I'm mad for saying this, but I'm going to full send a bunch of items down into space here. I should probably specify deliveries for cargo bays from Novice. I'm gonna say 50. Not that I don't think I'd be able to interact with 50 like that, but still. Just enough to store a bunch of items in there. Hopefully the the only island on Aquillo would be big enough for this sort of thing. Wait, does Aquillo generate more islands, or is it only the plate, or is the iceberg all literally the only platform expand off of? Regardless, it doesn't matter. Aquillo offers foundation research, so I can build off of that, and I can get a lot of concrete and stuff off of Fulgora and Volcanus. Leaning more towards Fulgora, considering how much I'm having to manage there. You know what, that's what I'll do. Say 2,000. There. And that should help insulate any ice platforms I make. That is a global thing amongst, and these are global filters, logistic filters amongst all of my ships that I've established. Speaking of which, do I have any? Here's what I'll do. I'm just going to eject most of these items down. Probably shouldn't have done that. I'm going to put these back. maximizing cargo space. Expansion about to happen. So what I'm going to do is move all these, all these, all of these, all of these. My blueprint book. Spaceships. So here, that's the steel copper trawler, which is what I want. That there is a start. I'll plop that down right there to get things started. Give this about an hour to check on it later. Okay, I'm on this ship, on the original cargo iron trawler. Circuit condition with this one so far. Let's just wait for additional cargo. It's because of the energy weapons. Alright, there's that. I can't wait to get foundations just for the sake of solving my UPS issues. Speaking of which, how am I doing with this year? No quality 2 surplus yet. When I was redoing Fulgora, I didn't think to plop down a chest for quality for all the quality 3 modules that I've had in these islands. So I think I may have sunk a bunch of those quality 3 modules. So I wound up redirecting the remaining quality 3 modules into the recyclers in the train area, and as well as most of the miners. The rest of the base is running off of quality 2 modules of regular grade. Once I start seeing a surplus of that in the logistics network storage system, then I will start converting them over to quality 3 modules. Or rare quality 2 modules, depending on what comes first. Yeah, I'm only at 22 of those rare ones right now. 3,000. That is slowly growing though. That's a little concerning. Must be bottlenecked by processing units. is in here. I guess I might as well just deposit some of the shield and stuff. Does my character contain shield? I honestly don't know. I'm curious. Have I requested any? There's plenty of those in there, but probably because I should. Version of those for novice. That'll be globally transmitted across all the trawlers. You know, I'm waiting forever for that spot. What's going on here? Launching. Is the cargo bay full? No, I've got plenty of space. I don't know why the system's hesitating. I don't know why it's so stalled out from launching everything, even though it has low capacity. All these rockets are actually. Is it because of the changing circuit conditions of the logistic network? That shouldn't be a factor in this, considering that these are. That might be a bug, possibly. I hope not. That should be the only item holding the ship up. That's exactly what was holding it up, because of a weird interaction on Fulgora. That's weird. I wonder why that is. I'll have to investigate that later. That's also going to cause problems for electromagnetic science deliveries and other ships taking the routes. Like, all the ships can sustain themselves up there for a while. It's just my worry is what happens if it's long enough to burn through all the uranium cells. So as always, the ship is more than capable of handling small asteroids with laser turrets. Asteroids get destroyed before the gun turrets even have a chance to. And I only had to discharge around once. So the ammunition demand is a trickle with these. I specified these rockets to only target larger asteroids and all the gun turrets and laser turrets, all the small asteroids. Medium small ones. Way ammunition gets properly used efficiently, especially with the larger asteroids being more prone to having low resistance to explosion damage compared to other sources of damage. That's a high flat physical damage rate right there. And these are 90% at 400 HP. These are like, I mean, I could probably dispatch these with laser turrets and all, but I think it's fair to use laser turrets against smaller asteroids, considering that those are more numerous. Plus, to these rockets, you could just straight to tap these asteroids. Excuse me. Halfway there, especially with Aquillo being a planet that is literally twice the distance from the other planets from Novice. At least it travels from, like, Gleba to Factorio back, yes. Ship is holding itself well. I really gotta make sure that Fulgoro's good, because I don't need that planet being a bottleneck, especially with Aquillo. First source of heat that'll produce on Aquillo, a nuclear reactor. We'll want to buffer the ice platform before doing that. There. 8 more kilometers. Though technically speaking, these planets should be way more farther than that. Sized asteroids. That's one reason why I made like a relatively larger sized asteroid production system, or recycling system, reprocessing system, I should say. I was debugging the ship. I wanted to place down a lot of turrets here because a few of these large asteroids was getting uncomfortably close to the tip of these ships. No, you don't. Back to Aquillo you go. Didn't realize it stopped. Ship here, and down to Aquillo I go. See what this frozen wasteland looks like. That's a very small space to work with. I feel like a good step with this is to focus on I mean, there's small bits of nice land here and there. Oh, okay, so Aquillo does generate more ice on top of it. But even then, you would have to okay. Even then, you would have to have heat somehow being routed. I think that's oil. Yeah, it's crude oil. And it is... Okay, so it's about almost 1,000%. Oh, 1,500. Yep, this is Aquillo. Alright. So back to the main island. Or should I say back to the main, oh, I got oil here. 263. What I can probably do is convert a lot of the oil here into solid fuel and then use a bunch of burner stuff to keep things heated. Okay. I'm going to start depositing my stuff down. Definitely heat pipes, definitely these, definitely turbines, definitely reactors. I'm going to say heating towers too. Where are the pump jacks? Ah, it's all right. I can make the pump jacks. Now my question is, do I got the chem plants? I got the oil stuff. Yeah, I'll send those down too. These for certain. Hmm. This means I'll have to yeah, send these fuel down just for sake of getting quick warmth going. I may have just shot my own foot here. Because I believe I mean, in that case, I'll just go ahead and just make a request for chemical plants here. As well as 500 of that. The last thing I need is to melt the ice beneath my feet. Guess I will just send down solar panels. This is a steel trawler. Okay, I pretty much got the most viable stuff. Oh, which one am I sending? Alright, there's not much I can do with this right now. One thing I can probably do is make a bunch of steel chests. All the robots. have to send in nuclear fuel. That's alright. Yeah, it's gonna be a while before I can set anything up on this planet, so I finally made it to Aquillo, especially for this episode being about an hour 15 minutes, looking at the clock. I gotta create some stone platforms too as well. This way I'm not melting the glacier. I'll be able to expand off of Aquillo. Once I get the basics on Aquillo down for sure, then I'll be able to manage things from there, and I'll air the next episode in that instance. Anyhow, I'll see y'all in the next episode of Factorio. Take care.